Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we have a fresh report from a South Korean publication called The Elect. They're talking about a whole bunch of different Samsung folding devices. We're going to go through what they are alleging is true, and then we're going to talk about whether or not there's reason to think it actually is. So their post actually took the form of a video, and since I do not speak Korean, what we're going to be looking at is a tweet from this individual. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name either, but they basically tried to distill this down into a tweet, and this is what they came up with. Summary of Samsung Foldable News. Triple fold. 4 total fold models, Z Fold 7 rumors, all kinds of stuff. So let's kind of dig into each one of these things a little bit more deeply. So first up, we're talking about this rumored tri-fold device from Samsung. So according to their report, this tri-folding device is going to be somewhere around 10 inches diagonal when fully opened. If you didn't see the earlier reports, it's likely that this device is going to be a G-Flex style device or G-Fold style device. Whatever Samsung Display called it, I'll show you. So we can look at these patents for a general idea of what we're talking about here. Notice that the camera module is in the middle, and that is because on this device, one side folds in and then the other side folds in on top of that, so that the folding screen is completely internal at that point. None of it is exposed to the outside world. For a really good look at what that would be like, here is a demo from Samsung just a couple of years ago where they were showing off the ability to make devices just like what we are describing. This is what this tri-fold device is likely to look like, straight from Samsung. But what else are they saying? They're saying that this device is going to go into mass production in Q2 of this year, and it's going to launch in Q3 of this year. Now, we had seen earlier reports from Ross Young, who, if you don't know who Ross Young is, he is a VP at Counterpoint Research, founder of Display Search and Display Supply Chain Consultant. So this is an individual who often has inside track on things in the display world. He had actually said that this Samsung triple fold, tri-fold, however you want to call it, it only folds twice, so whatever. It was going to be launching in Q1 of 2026. And he actually has very recently, January 13th, said as of a couple of months ago, the plan was Q1 26, we will get an update. And then he came back and responded again and said, looks like it was pulled in as you reported, looks like Q3 launch now. So that part actually does seem to line up. And when I say line up, what I mean is someone who's actually reputable is agreeing with this report. We'll talk more on that in a minute. They're also saying that they expect to sell around 200,000 units over the course of that next following year. Now, interestingly, another publication called CISA Journal or CISA Journal, I'm not sure how you would pronounce this, they actually reported, this is going to take a long time to load because it's a South Korean website, I'll just tell you what they said. They had said 300,000 units. So over the span of a couple of weeks, we have two different South Korean publications with wildly different numbers. And yes, 200,000 versus 300,000, I would consider those to be quite different. Now, apparently they do also talk about potentially releasing a Z Flip FE or Fan Edition. This would presumably be a cheaper variant of the Z Flip that would hope to sort of proliferate the foldable device line even further. They're taking their cheaper foldable device, the Z Flip, which is around $1,000 instead of $1,700, $1,800, $1,900, and probably bringing it down below $1,000. Now, keep in mind, we've heard this thing rumored before already. Ross Young said it would be using the Z Flip 6 panel. That's one way to bring the price down. He also said that there's a chance that it will be using a different camera setup and a different processor, maybe the newer Exynos processor. It might be a bit of a bummer for some people, but again, it would help bring the price down. And if that's what Samsung is going for, then it does make sense. Now, the Elect doesn't seem to have a whole lot of information on this front, other than just that they agreed that it is coming. Lastly, we do need to talk about the Galaxy Z Fold 7 because they are saying that the Z Fold 7 might actually be dropping the S Pen digitizer. But before we dig into that particular bit, losing the S Pen digitizer, I just want to remind you of a couple of things. So first off, the Elec had reported very, very heavily last year that a cheaper Z Fold was in the works. Now this ended up being the special edition, which was a more expensive variant, not a cheaper variant, and it only released in China and South Korea. That was a big swing and a miss for them, but they weren't done there because very recently they posted that the Z Fold 7 would be more or less the same as the Z Fold 6, with bigger changes coming with the Fold 8 in 2026. Now they are back once again claiming that the Z Fold 7 would be dropping the S Pen digitizer. This falls right in line with something that Ross Young stated, that the Fold 7 would have the same display sizes as the Fold 6 FE. The Fold 6 SE will basically become the Fold 7. So the special edition, what they did there, those screen sizes, that's just going to be the Fold 7. Now, this was December the 2nd. I don't think he's changed his mind on this incident. These things are always in flux, right? It's hard to pin down exactly what a company's plans are until it's fairly late into like production. But this was what Ross said at one point. This, to me, this report that they're pulling the S Pen digitizer lines up more with what Ross said than what the Elec said just a few weeks ago, because that special edition didn't have the S Pen digitizer. It made the device thinner. Now, in the case of the SE, the special edition, that was actually something that they did to make the device thinner, but it did not actually have any S Pen compatibility at all. I don't think that's going to be the case with the Z Fold 7. If this is true, I think what they're probably going to do is use something very similar to what they have with their cheaper Galaxy Tab devices. They're likely to use a pen style that does not need a digitizer. They've done this in the past with other devices. They'll probably do it here as well. So at the end of the day, you're probably not going to lose a whole lot. At the end of the day, though, what I really want to stress to you is that when you're reading these rumors, pay attention to the source of the rumors, kind of know the provenance, know the track record of the source that you're reading from. When it comes to the Z Fold line of devices, if you're hearing from OnLeaks or Evan Blass or Ross Young, you can probably put some stock in that. Ice Universe is also pretty accurate when it comes to these Samsung devices. But if it's the Elec, if it's CISA Journal, some of these South Korean publications who you would think would have an inside track, being that they're over there where Samsung is, they were all over the place with the last round of rumors. They both swung hard and missed several times. Right now, we just don't know a lot. We do know that there is another code name that has been uncovered. So there's Q7, which means Fold 7. And then there's this Q7M, which is different than what we had for a special edition code name last year. That was Q6A. So they've gone from A to M. Perhaps that's the trifold device. Maybe that's what's going on here. But like I said, we just don't know. We know there's a Fold 7. We know there's a Flip 7. Beyond that, what they're going to look like, my advice is wait for one of the bigger guys to talk before you think that you know what is happening. And guys, those are the rumors. You'll see them reported all over the place. I'm sure it's already happening. Those are my thoughts on them. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Hit that subscribe button before you go so you don't miss out on more content just like this. I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.